This is the book of John, chapter 6, verses 43 through 45. Yahawashi therefore answered and said unto them, Murmur not among yourselves. No man can come to me, except the Father which has sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of Yahweh. Every man therefore that hath heard and hath learned of the Father cometh unto me. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakadash. Alright, that's who this world ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit in the ancient Paleo Hebrew language. Alright, next, double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who teach rule well and rule well and oversees the tabernacle of David. And peace and salutations to the sincere elect of Israel scattered across the four corners of the earth, pushing and teaching this truth in diligence and sincerity. Alright, with that I say shalom. Alright, this is just another lesson through the Spirit and power of Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi, coming from your brother Eliah with the Men of Israel camp in Greenville, South Carolina. And the topic of this lesson is just going to be, no man can come to Yahawashi. Alright, and with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, so this is the book of John, chapter 43 through 45. Yahawashi therefore answered and said unto them, Murmur not among yourselves. No man can come to me except the Father which has sent me draw him. Alright, now let's break this down. Let's kind of understand what Yahawashi is saying. Because he said, no man can come to me. Now, most people just believe that, just hearing about the names or understanding you're an Israelite is you coming to Yahawashi, when ultimately that's not even the case, right? Unless the Father which has sent Yahawashi draws you unto Yahawashi, then you can't receive him. For example, when you look up this word draw here in context, I believe the Greek word, the little understanding of that word, it literally means to drag, right? So this is not something that you can just wake up one day and hear and make up and just decide hey, yeah, this is what's good for me, maybe I should try this, maybe there's some truth in this. No, ultimately, if you are saying those things, that is the Father Yahweh literally dragging your wicked ass to receive his holy and righteous Son, right? To behold his face, right? That's the Most High doing that. There's nothing of your own will, nothing of your own works, right? That's what Yahawashi is saying. And it says, and I will raise him up at the last day, right? So what is that last day? That's literally talking about Yahawashi's return, right? That's when even the dead in Yahawashi will raise up, and they're going to receive that kingdom of peace and a promise that was prophesied even of old, right? As it says in verse 45, it is written in the prophets, right? And they shall be all taught of Yahweh. Every man therefore that hath heard and hath learned of the Father cometh unto me. All right. So, and where is that written in the prophets? That's mentioned in Isaiah 54, in verse 13 on down, right? So ultimately, this kingdom of peace and a promise that has been prophesied of, it's come to pass through Yahawashi, right? And at the last day when he returns is when that kingdom will be manifested and made known to all nations of the earth, right? But let's get a preset to this. I want to go ahead to the book of 2nd Esdras. All right, 2nd Esdras, chapter 8, and we're gonna read verses 1 through 4, right? And this is just gonna back up and just to show you that literally nothing in this world is gonna cause you to wanting you to follow Yahawashi. Literally only Yahweh revealing Yahawashi to you, right, and dragging you to him is the only way you receive the truth, right, about his Son. And it reads 2nd Esdras chapter 8, verses 1 through 4. And he answered me, saying, the Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few, right? So what is that saying? It's through the Spirit. As I was kind of just elaborating on, everything in this world has been made literally for many, and that many is really going into all these wicked ass souls that's out here in this world. All they do is promote unrighteousness, filthiness, uncleanness, right? And really, what is that doing? Is multiplying sins under the sun, right? That's what this world is made for, right? But it says, but but the world to come for few. What is that world to come? It's talking about the kingdom of righteousness, right? That's only set up for the elect, right? That have been set up and ordained to receive that world to come, right? That's what it says, but the world to come for few. And what is it also showing us? That majority of the people out here in this world don't know what the hell is going on, right? For one, they definitely don't even know that this world, their world, is gonna come to an end, right? Everything they're used to, accustomed to doing, the things they're accustomed to going after and lusting after and seeking for, it's gonna perish. It's gonna pass away, right? But the world to come is gonna be few, for those few righteous men who are in this world today, but are not of this world, right? Because we understand, as the scriptures command us to be, although wickedness is all around us, we are supposed to be holy, right? That word holy simply means separate, set apart, different. It's not like everything else around it, right? But as it continues in verse 2, I will tell thee a similitude, Esdras, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee, that it giveth much mold whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present world, right? So just as the earth, basically in layman's terms, just as there's all across this earth, there's dust damn near on every single thing, right? But on the same earth, is it rare for you to find a speck of gold in the earth, right? That because of everything that gold has to go through to be made what it is, right? That's the same way in for us people, these earthen vessels. There's a whole lot of people right now of this world, but few people who are actually worth something. And what makes somebody worth something? Righteousness, right? Not your own wisdom, not your own works. Righteousness makes something nothing, right? And that's what that gold is going into. It's comparing it to dust and natural gold, but ultimately the dust is talking about the vain knowledge that majority of people are carrying and walking around with, thinking they're something when they're nothing. And that gold referring to this true wisdom and knowledge that is set up through the Spirit of the Most High for the elect, the true sincere believers of Yahawashi. Because it says, verse 3, there be many created, but few shall be saved, right? That many creators going into these people. Ultimately everything, but chiefly in context, he's talking about there be millions of people on this earth, right? But out of these millions of people, only a few of them are going to be saved. Saved for what? Saved and preserved to receive this everlasting kingdom, the world to come in the near future, that's going to be made manifest in the earth, right? After this world that most people know and see today is going to perish, right? As yesterday. It says in verse 4, so answered I and said, swallow then down, O my soul, understanding, and devour wisdom, right? So Esdras then, after he heard this similitude, he basically said to crying out his soul, swallow down understanding and devour wisdom, because he understood the severity of this moment, how serious that it actually is. And he wanted to seek out true wisdom and understanding, right? But where did he go to get the true wisdom and understanding, and how was it given, right? Let's get there, because this is ultimately what these scriptures are here to explain to us, to elaborate on. All right, this is the book of Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 6. For Yahweh giveth wisdom, right? That's the Father, the Most High. It says, for Yahweh giveth wisdom. Out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. Right? So ultimately, what was Esdras crying out for? He was crying out for Yahweh to have mercy on him. And where does mercy come from? Out of Yahweh's mouth. And what came out of Yahweh's mouth? Grace, mercy, and truth, which we know ultimately is Yahawashi, right? But this world can't receive that. That's too deep for the majority of you people watching this video right now. That's way too far off, right? And that's why the scripture said, no man can receive this truth, no man can receive Yahawashi unless Yahweh drags that soul to him, all right? Yeah, I mean, it's really plain and simple, cut, dry, to the point, easy. But ultimately, the Most High Yahweh has caused this to be a big-ass stumbling block in this world, because everyone is not set up and to receive this kingdom of life. Right? Everyone's not set up to receive or to receive the salvation from the destruction and the perils that are said to come upon the earth. Right? So let's keep going. I want to go ahead to the book of Revelation. All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 19. And I'm going to start it. We're going to read verses 12 and 13. And it reads, "His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself." Right? So now we got to understand this man that the scriptures are explaining and talking about Yahawashi, and how when he comes back, his eyes are going to be as a flame of fire. Why? Because he's pissed the hell off. All right? But at the same time, on his head were many crowns. What is that talking about? It's not saying that, Yahawashi is playing this balanced act, or, he's seeing how many crowns he can put on his head at one time. No. It's talking about how when he comes back, he's going to receive power and dominion over all these nations. It's talking about the rulership that he's going to have. And Salakia for the noise in the background. But it's literally talking about how he's going to receive power over all these nations. That's those many crowns, these kingdoms. He's going to have power over them. And it says, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself, right? And when it goes into he himself, it's talking about the true, sincere believer. When it says, but he himself, because the scriptures explain, all the people that the Most High has set up to receive Yahawashi, they are of Yahawashi. And Yahawashi is in them, and they are in him. And they are all, including him, are in the Father, right? So that's when it says that no man knew but he himself. It's talking about because only the 144,000 and the 1/3 have the spirit to understand and to know who he is, right? And they're going to be with him, right? And it says, verse 13, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God, of Yahweh, right? So ultimately, the reason I got these verses is to show you that literally these words, even all of these scriptures and these precepts, speak of and are about Yahawashi, right? That's why his name is called the Word of Yahweh. He is who came out of Yahweh's mouth, and he is who gives understanding and wisdom and knowledge, right? It's Yahawashi, right? And that's why most people don't have wisdom. Most people don't have knowledge. Most people don't have understanding because they don't have Yahawashi. They do not, right? And why don't they? Why don't they? Let's get it. Why can't they receive this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding about Yahawashi that's so easily made plain upon tables? It says, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 3 through 4. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, right? So what is this gospel? It is it is the profession of salvation to Israel. That yes, we are going to be saved through our King, right? Yahawashi. That's our gospel. But if you can't understand that, if it's hid to you, then you are ultimately lost, right? Why are you lost? It says in verse 4, in whom the power of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not, right? So who is the power of this world? These Edomites, right? These so-called Caucasians, these so-called white people, who the scriptures explain emphatically is the devil, right? They are the devil that the Bible speaks of. The word devil does not refer to your animated character, some red man with horns and a pitchfork and a tail under the earth, poking your soul, talking like, yeah, I got your soul, yeah. That's not what a devil is. A devil just means deceiver, right? Someone who is trying to deceive you, but from what? Deceive you so you don't receive this gospel. That's simply what it's talking about. And I'm going to read it again. In whom the power of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not, right? Blinded you how? Your mind has been made dark. You don't have the spiritual eyes to see the light of the gospel, right? And it says, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, right? Who this what it calls Christ, who is the image of Yahweh, should shine unto them. So that's the ultimate reason why these devils have blinded your eyes, ultimately your mind, from receiving the gospel, is so that you don't receive the salvation and understand who your King and who your Savior is. That's the only and sole reason of why these devils exist today, right? That flaming cherubim that the book of Genesis explains is the flaming cherubim that guards the way to the tree of life, right? That is talking about the damn devil. I'm telling you. So I got a few more precepts I want to bring out through the Spirit. We're going to go ahead to the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 37. I'm just going to get 19. Still up. Psalms chapter 19, verses 7 through 8. And it reads, "The law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple." Right? So the law, because this is a cut for a lot of you Christians, because they like to use some of Paul's writings. You know how the scriptures explain how the law was weak. That's not talking about the entire law itself, because we understand that the only part of the law that was weak was the law of sacrifice, of the shedding of the blood of bulls and goats. That was weak because it was not made ultimately to take away the sins of the people, right? Because as we're reading right here, the law is perfect, right? There is no flaw in the law at all, right? None whatsoever. So that confounds all you Christians saying how the law is done away with because it was weak, right? You're confounded because the law is perfect, right? Converting the soul, right? Meaning what? Ultimately, if Yahweh is wanting to pour his spirit of understanding, wisdom, and knowledge into you, it's gonna convert your soul. You're going to change, and what does that mean? It means you're keeping the commandments to the best of your ability, which is gonna make you perfect, right? Even as Abraham was perfect, right? Even as Isaac was perfect, right? Even as Jacob will be made perfect, right? Through Yahawashi. That's what this is talking about. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple, right? So all you simple-minded, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, right? All y'all simple-minded asses, these testimonies and this law is what will make your simple ass wise, right? And the scriptures read how they read. You are simple because this truth is really simple, ultimately. But you're so dumbfounded that you much more rather believe in Buddha, right, or Muhammad, or Jesus Christ, way before you believe these testimonies and this law, even though it was set up and ordained for you to receive it. You allow the devil and his lies and his tricks and his games that he likes to play. You find those more entertaining, apparently, than true everlasting life and wisdom, right? It's crazy. But continuing, verse 8 says, "The statutes of Yahweh are right, rejoice in the heart. The commandment of Yahweh is pure, enlightening the eyes." So although the damn devil of this world has blinded all of Israel through these commandments, right, and these statutes, and these testimonies and these judgments that Yahweh B'Shem Yahawashi has for us, your eyes will be made enlightened again. You will be able to see the light of this glorious gospel that Yahweh B'Shem Yahawashi has for the sincere sheep of Israel. All right, you'll be able to see it through this law. All right, nowhere else will Yahawashi be made known to you. Nowhere else. Only via Yahweh is how you will ever receive Yahawashi. All right, a couple more precepts. All right, we're going to the book of John, chapter 7. All right, and we're going to start at verses 37 and read verse 38. All right, and it reads, "In the last day, that great day of the feast, Yahawashi stood and cried, saying, If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believeth on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water." All right, now let's read this again and let's get some understanding. So it says, "In the last day, that great day of the feast, Yahawashi stood and cried, saying, If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink." All right, so now any simple-minded ass nigga would read this or hear this and be like, what? Come unto me and drink. Or for you Christians, any man, so that he's talking at all people, all nations. No, you're done. All right, listen. If any man, keep that in context. This is a feast. A feast for who? A feast for what? A feast that Israelites kept, right? So who will be at this feast? Israelites. So who is he speaking amongst and to? Israelites. If any of you Israelites are thirst, right? If you thirst, let him come unto me and drink. What are you drinking from him, right? And he said that specifically. Come unto me and drink. He didn't say come sip this out of my hand. He said come to me and drink. Why? Because he explains, he that believeth on me. Where can you believe on Yahawashi? Where can you know of Yahawashi? Where can you be taught of Yahawashi? As the scripture has said, right? So what are you drinking? What are you taking in? Right? What are you believing? These scriptures, right? These scriptures. I'm going to say it again. These scriptures. Out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. What is your belly? Your mind, right? So once you're taking these scriptures in, right? And spiritually, once you're drinking them and once they're in you, and as the scripture says, out of your belly is going to flow rivers of living water. Which means what? You're going to be also speaking about these scriptures. Once they're in you, you're going to be, for lack of better terms, regurgitating them back out, right? It's in you. It's got to come out. And you're going to be speaking of Yahawashi, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, right? And that's really ultimately a spiritual gift, to be able to receive, and not only receive this true wisdom and understanding, but also to be able to explain it or break it down or exhort these scriptures too. That's a spiritual gift, right? That Yahweh is blessing his sincere sheep with in these last days, right? To receive that salvation. Alright, so last precept, and I'll go ahead and wrap it up, is the book of Ecclesiasticus. Chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 4 through 10, and then I'm going to jump down to verse 13 and 14. So it reads, wisdom hath been created before all things, and the understanding of prudence from everlasting, right? So look, this is deep, man. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi will in this video be edifying, but I'm telling you, it says wisdom hath been created before all things. What is that wisdom that was created before all things? Yahawashi. Yahawashi has been that wisdom created before all things. Before everything else was made, Yahweh already knew the end intent of all his creation. So what did he do? He made Yahawashi. Alright? That's why wisdom was created before all things. Because through Yahawashi, all things are made perfect. And that is wisdom from Yahweh. That is wisdom. And it says, and the understanding of prudence from everlasting, right? So even this understanding that comes via Yahawashi, we get it because Yahawashi was made, right? And it says, verse 5, the word of Yahweh Most High is the fountain of wisdom. What is that word of Yahweh Most High? As we read precept upon precept, he is called the word of Yahweh. This is talking about Yahawashi, man. This true wisdom, this true understanding is Yahawashi. These words are Yahawashi. It says, the word of Yahweh Most High is the fountain of wisdom. And look at that key word, fountain. Just like that water and that river that's gonna come, as the scriptures say, those everlasting waters that's gonna flow out of your bellies is that fountain, right? It's still talking about this true wisdom, knowledge, understanding, Yahawashi. And her ways are everlasting commandments. So wisdom's ways, when you truly understand wisdom, you understand the everlasting commandments. You have the everlasting commandments in your heart, right? Which means what? You're going to be keeping them. Which means what? You're going to be teaching them. Which means what? You're ultimately following Yahawashi. That's what this is saying. Continue. It says, verse 6, to whom hath the root of wisdom been revealed? Right? Or who hath known her wise counsels, right? And this is a good question. To whom hath the root of wisdom been revealed? Who in this world, in this goddamn world, has wisdom been revealed to? Nobody. No one. Or who hath known her wise counsels? Nobody, except the true, sincere elect that Yahweh has set up and ordained to have it, to see it and to understand it. Yahweh has set them up to. No one has it been revealed to besides the elect of Israel. And it says, verse 7, unto whom hath the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and who hath understood her great experience, right? Still reiterating the same questions, because we know the vast majority of people who walk the face of this earth do not have wisdom, do not have understanding, right? They don't. And it says in verse 8, there is one wise and greatly to be feared. And who is that? Yahweh, sitting upon his throne, right? As we read in John 6:44 earlier, no man can come unto Yahawashi beside Yahweh, Salakia, unless Yahweh drags them to Yahawashi. So there is only one who has this wisdom, man. He is the one who is ultimately issuing out this wisdom to the people, right? And that's Yahweh, as he sits upon his throne. It says, he created her and saw her and numbered her and poured her out upon all his works. She is with all flesh according to his gift, and he hath given her to them that love him. Right? Whew, boy, this is beautiful. Right? So this is still stating the same thing. Ultimately, wisdom. It's only out here doing what Yahweh has purposed it to do. Right? And he is only given wisdom, which is a gift, which is why all people don't have it. He has given wisdom to them that love him. Right? How do you love Yahweh? Right? For this we know that the love of Yahweh is to keep the commandments. Right? That is understanding. That is wisdom. Right? Let's jump down to verse 13 and 14. It says, whoso feareth Yahweh, it shall go well with him at the last. Right? What is that talking about? For him that fear Yahweh, it shall go well with him at the last. That's talking about if you fear Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi, you are going to be keeping his commandments, and it's going to go well for you at the last. Meaning what? You're not going to receive that judgment of fire ultimately. You're going to have that salvation. That's how it's going to go well for him at the last. And he's going to have power over the nations and rule them with the rod of iron. Right? Along with Yahawashi, it says, and he shall find favor in the day of his death. Right? So in the day where you're supposed to receive that ultimate judgment, right? Or even if ultimately, as the scripture says, even if you are put to death, you shall find favor, right? You're going to be resurrected with Yahawashi and the rest of the 144,000 and the 1/3. And, you're going to have rulership, all right, in the everlasting kingdom. But who is this for? Who is this purpose to? Who is it given to? Who is it made known and revealed to? It says, verse 14, to fear Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb. Right? So the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. Right? It's the very beginning of it. And if the fear is the beginning, you understand that it's the only way you begin to fear him is if the spirit of faith and of understanding and wisdom was created with you in the womb, and that was only blessed to the faithful. Yahweh knew from the foundation of the world who he was going to set up, who he was going to ordain to receive his wisdom, to receive the understanding, to receive that salvation, right? So they know what they need to do in the times that are coming up, so they can, we're going to be amongst all these perils while they're coming and happening upon the earth. However, we're still going to be given mercy, right? And that grace to boldly come unto that throne of grace, to walk through and to receive that salvation, right? Wisdom was created with the faithful in the womb, right? Not for all people, but the faithful. Those who, like Yahawashi said, my sheep hear my voice and they follow. And as it says also in the rest of the scripts, the sheep follow the lamb, the shepherd, whithersoever he goeth. Talking about Yahawashi. Even in our past lives, we had the spirit of understanding to know Yahawashi is who we have to follow. You're right. Even though we have yet to see him in the flesh, we know through the spirit and power of Yahawashi, through these precepts, through these scriptures, what the scriptures say about Yahawashi, what he would do, the kingdom he would bring, what he would do for his people, the judgment that he has set up for these nations. We understand that and we see that through these scriptures. The faithful see and the faithful know, and therefore the faithful shall receive, right? So with that, I let it say, Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who teach real well and who rule well and oversees the tabernacle of David. Peace and salutations to the sincere elect of Israel scattered across the four corners of the earth. All right, with that I say Kwam Yasharallah and Shalom.